Hello, welcome to our series of videos where we solve the questions in the WASSCE 2020 Dec Core Math Paper 1. In this video, we're going to solve questions 41 to 50. We begin with question 41, which says, in the diagram, PQ is a tangent to the circle XYZW. So this line here is a tangent to the circle, and then YWQ is 71 degrees, that's indicated. And then WZY equals M, that's also indicated. And we're supposed to find the value of M. Well, one thing we can notice is that this angle made with this tangent is going to be equal to this angle by the alternate segment theorem, which says that if you have a chord making an angle with a tangent, then that angle it makes is going to be equal to the angle made by that chord in the alternate segment. So this angle is 71 degrees. Now, we also have to notice that this is a cyclic quadrilateral, and so this 71 degrees plus this M must be equal to 180 degrees. So 71 degrees plus M equals 180 degrees. That means that M is 180 degrees minus 71 degrees, and this is equal to 109 degrees. So looking at our answers, this is going to make it B. B is going to be the right choice. The next problem is question 42, which says, a third die with faces numbered 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is thrown 2 times, and we're supposed to use this information to answer questions 42 and 43. The first is to calculate the probability that the sum of the outcomes is 13. So how do we get 13 will be the question. We're going to throw a die with these faces 2 times. How are we going to get 13? Well, is there a way to add something to 3 to get 13? Something in this list? No. To add, what we have to add to 3 to get 13 is 10, and 10 is not in the list, so there's no way to get it with 3. Similarly, there's no way to get it with 4, but we can get it with 5. If we get 5 on one die and 8 on the other die, that'll give us 13. So 5 and 8 work, and that means that 8 and 5 also works. Here we care about the order, so when we write 5, 8, we mean the first die gives us 5 and the second gives us 8. And then this one means the first gives us 8 and the second gives us 5. So 5, 8 is one option. Another option is 6, 7, and 7, 6. And these are all the options that give us 13. So you can see that we have 4 possibilities, but then if you throw a die twice, there are going to be 36 possible outcomes. So we have 4 over 36, which is equal to 1 over 9 being the answer. The next problem is 43, and we have the same preamble. It says that, again, a third die with these faces is thrown 2 times, and we're supposed to use that information to answer question 43. It says, find the probability that the sum of the outcomes is prime. Now, to get a prime number, let's run through the options to see which of them give us prime numbers. Let's start with 3. Will 3 and 3 give us a prime number? No, 3 and 3 give 6, so that's not possible. What about 3 and 4? 3 and 4 give us 7, which is prime. So this outcome gives us a sum which is prime. So if 3 and 4 work, that means that 4 and 3 also work. What about 3 and 5? That's not prime. 3 plus 5 is 8. That's not prime. 3 and 6, 3 plus 6 is 9. It's not prime. 3 plus 7 is 10. It's not prime. 3 plus 8 is 11, which is prime. So we have 3 and 8, and then 8 and 3. So that gives us all the options if we use 3. Now let's go with using 4. We've already done 4, 3. So that's out. 4, 4 is 8, it's not prime. 4, 5 is 9, not prime. 4, 6, 10. 4, 7 is 11, which is prime. So we have 4, 7 and 7, 4. Then 4, 8 is 12, is not prime. So that's out. Then we go to 5. 5, 5 is 10, not prime. 5, 6 is prime though. 5 and 6, the sum is 11. So 6 and 5 also sum 11. Then 5, 7, 12, not prime. 5, 8 is prime. So 5, 8 and 8, 5. Then we go to 6. 6, 6 is 12, not prime. 6, 7 is prime though. That's 13. 6, 7, 7, 6. So 6, 8, 14, not prime. So these are the options, all the options if we want a sum that is prime. And there are 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus another 6. That's 12. So there are 12 possibilities out of 36, and that gives us half the probability that the sum of the outcomes is prime is going to, 12 over 36 is not 1 over 2, it's 1 over 3. Sorry. So that gives us 1/3 as our answer. The next problem is question 44. It says a mountain is 24 meters high. The angle of depression of an object from the top of the mountain is 30 degrees. If the object is on the same horizontal ground as the foot of the mountain, calculate the distance between the object and the foot of the mountain. So we have this mountain, let's say this is the ground, and then there is an object here such that the angle of depression from the top of the mountain, so there's this object here, the angle of depression, this angle is 30 degrees. That would make this angle 60 degrees. So this height is 24 meters. All right. So the angle of depression from the top of the mountain is 30 degrees. Now, if the object is on the same horizontal ground as the foot of the mountain, which is this, calculate the distance between the object and the foot of the mountain. So this is the foot of the mountain, and that is the object. So we want this distance, call it x. Now we can find the tangent of x. We can find the tangent of this angle, 60 degrees. The tangent, using SOHCAHTOA, the tangent of 60 degrees equals the opposite, which is x, over the adjacent, which is 24 meters. So x equals 24 tan 60 degrees. Now we can punch this into our calculator. Tan 60 is the square root of 3. So multiplying by 24, you can punch that into your calculator and see that you're going to get A. The next problem is question 45, which says in the diagram PQRS is a circle, PSR is 78 as indicated, and PRS is 36 degrees as indicated, and we are supposed to find RQS. RQS is this angle. Now, how can we find RQS? One thing we can do is, if we notice that this angle RQS is the same as this angle RPS, then also notice that these three, 1, 2, 3, are in a triangle and therefore must add up to 180, then we have that this angle, which is the same as this angle, is 180 minus 78 minus 36. And what does that give us? This is the same as 180 minus, now 78 plus 36 is what? Is 114. So doing the subtraction, what do we get? We get 66 degrees, and that is D. The next problem is 46. Here we have a preamble. It says the table shows the distribution of scores obtained by some students in a test. We're supposed to use this information to answer questions 46 and 47. 46 says, if the mean score is 4, find the value of m. Now we first have to calculate or write an expression for the mean and see if that's going to help us find m. So how do we get the mean? We first have to find the total score obtained by all the students, so the sum of all the scores obtained, and then divide by how many students there are. So what's the total? Well, one person got a score of 1, so that gives us a total of 1 times 1. Then we have 4 persons got a score of 2, so we have plus 4 times 2. Then we have 5 persons who got a score of 3, so 5 times 3. Then we have 6 persons who got a score of 4, so 6 times 4, plus m persons who got a score of 5, so that's 5 times m. And then we have 2 persons who got a score of 6, so 2 times 6. This is the total score. Let's add it again. Let's simplify it. So we have 1 times 1, which is 1, plus 4 times 2, which is 8, that gives us 9, plus 5 times 3, which is 15, that gives us 24, plus 6 times 4, which is 24, that gives us 48, then plus 2 times 6, which is 12, that gives us 60. So we have 60 plus 5m. This is 60 plus 5m. Now when we divide this 60 plus 5m by the total number of students, he says we get 4, which is the mean. So let's write that 60 plus 5m over the total number of students. Let's find that. We have 1 plus 4, 5, which is 5, plus 5, 10, plus 6, 16, plus 2, 18, so 18 plus m. 18 plus m equals 4. Simplifying further, we have 60 plus 5m equals 4 times 18 plus m. So we can simplify 60 plus 5m equals 4 times 18, which is 72, plus 4 times m, 4m. Then we can group like terms, so we get m here equals 12, and therefore our answer is D. M is 12. The next problem says, if a pie chart is drawn for the distribution, what would be the sectorial angle of x equals 4? So x equals 4 is this column. Now to find the sectorial angle, we need to know what fraction of the frequency corresponds to this value of x. Now we know we've already found m to be 12, so we have to ask ourselves how many students took the test. Well, we have 1 plus 4, that's 5 plus 5, 10 plus 6, 16, plus 12, that's 28, plus 2, that's 30. So a total of 30 people took the test. That's 30. And then we want to find the sectorial angle that corresponds to a score of 4. We know that 6 students obtained a score of 4. So 6 over 30, we multiply that by the total measure of angles in a circle, which is 360 degrees. So 6 over 30 is what? 1 over 5. What is 360 over 5? 72 degrees. So our answer is C. The next is question 48. It says, if the side of a square is increased from 20 to 21 centimeters, calculate the percentage increase in the area of the square. So the old area, let's call it the old area, when the side is 20, is 20 by 20, which is 400 squared centimeters. Now we have the new area. Now we've increased the side to 21. So 21 by 21, you can punch this into your calculator. 21 times 21 is 441. So this is the new area. Now what's the difference in the area? So the difference in the area is 41. We divide that by the old area and multiply by 100% and see what we get. Well, 400, 100, we get 4 here. So our answer is 41 over 4%. And what is 41 over 4? Well, 4 divides 40, we get 10 1/4. 10 1/4%. And 10 1/4 is 10.25. 1/4 is 0.25. So that's our answer. The next is question 49. It says the locus of points equidistant from two given points is, we have 2 points. Let's call them this and that. And then you're looking for the locus of points that are always the same distance. So for instance, if the point is this distance from this, then its distance from here must be that. If the point is here, it has to always be the same distance. The distance to here must be equal to the distance to here. It cannot be here, for instance, because if it's here, the distance to this point is not the same as the distance. So the point is somehow constrained. And if you do a few more examples, you'll see that the point is such that it must divide the line segment between these 2 points, and therefore must be the perpendicular bisector. So B is the answer. We can go through the other answers to see if they make sense. A circle doesn't work because, well, for one, the circle is the locus of points equidistant from just 1 point. Here we have 2 points, so that's a little different. Here it says 2 circles whose centers are 2 points and are the 2 points in which touch each other. That is also not right, because if you have one circle, so there, and then you have another like that, then if you're looking for the locus of points that's equidistant from these 2 points, you can pick a point like this, and indeed it is equidistant from both points. But if you pick a point like this, you see that its distance to this is this distance, but its distance to this is that. So the distances are not the same. And then here we have the midpoint of the line joining the 2 points. That is true. The midpoint of the line joining the 2 points is equidistant from both points, but that's not the only point that is equidistant from both points. If you want the whole set or the entire set of points that are equidistant from the 2 points, then you have to think about the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining the points. So our answer is B. The next problem, which is the last one, is question 50. It says that given that x minus a is a factor of that, find the other factor. One thing to notice is that this expression is a quadratic. You can write it as x squared plus bx minus ax minus ab. So it's the same as x squared plus b minus a times x minus ab. If you write it that way, and you note you also have that x minus a is a factor, and you want to find the other factor, then the question is, what must you multiply by x minus a to get this? And well, one thing to note is you need some x here, because for instance, to get x squared, you need to multiply this x by x. So we need some x here. Now if you look at this minus ab also, we already have minus a here. So if you want minus ab, we're going to need a plus b. So x minus a times x plus b looks like it's going to give us something like this. But let's expand just to be sure. X times x, that's x squared. X times b plus bx minus a times x minus ax minus a times b minus ab. So if you compare this with that, you see that it's precisely the same. Therefore, the other factor is x plus b. So our answer is A. This brings us to the end of our series of videos where we solved all the questions in paper 1 of the WASSCE 2020 Dec Core Math exam. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to continue making videos, so see you later. Bye.